You're good.
Okay, we are going to talk today about command overview and then also setting your goals for 2021. So the reason why I think this is a really great class to start the year with is that a lot of you guys might not have really been utilizing command in 2020, and you're ready to kind of, you've got goals this year, you're ready to get after it, and this is a great time to start. And if you maybe are new to the brokerage, even better. Like, it's a great time in the beginning of the year. Let's go ahead and set these goals together. And also I want to give you a macro view of everything that you can do in command. So we do this class pretty much every Thursday, and we do put them all on YouTube afterwards. So you're certainly welcome to watch it later, especially I know if you've got just one screen in front of you, it can be hard to watch what I'm doing and also follow along at the same time. So feel free to just kind of keep up as best as you can. But then when you actually watch the video later, you can pause me, which is really nice because I get a little chatty, a little talkative sometimes. So some things to keep in mind as we move forward today. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm at agent.kw.com. If you guys want to think about this as the agent access to kw.com, I can't tell you how many times I've had agents tell me that they logged on to kw.com, they tried to put their credentials in and it didn't work. So that's because kw.com is a consumer-facing website. It's a consumer platform, whereas agent.kw.com, you can think about that as the agent access to kw.com. So you always want to go there to get to command. It might even be a smart idea to bookmark this on your computer as well. So you'll log in with those login credentials. And this takes you to your command dashboard. So I am going to start today by covering this dashboard. As you can see, I've got this thing that says Command MC. You guys probably do not have that on your computer, and that's totally fine, but you should have Command and Connect. We're going to stay in the command side of things. We'll talk a little bit about Connect, but this is mostly just focusing on command, so that's why we're staying over here. Here is your home screen, your dashboard. All of this stuff is editable. So if I click Customize Home right here, I can actually choose what I want and don't want to see. So for example, we'll talk about what each of these things are in a minute, but if I don't want to see the playbook, I can take that off. If I don't want to see this notepad, I'm not really utilizing it, I can take that off as well. Or I can also move things that I'm not really using to the bottom of my screen, so I can rearrange them as well. I feel like I'd probably want leads to be pretty high up there. That's always important. Maybe I'll move playbook down. Design updates, that sounds good. Database health comparison. So yeah, I'll just move all of these things, and once I have everything arranged the way that I like it, I can click apply, and I can always go back and change it later if I decide, actually that's not really working for me. So here I've got my tasks. So I don't have any tasks right now, but I will show you guys in a moment how you can add tasks, which is basically on this bar right here, and create a new task, but we will get to that in a minute. I've got my recent leads here. Design updates. So these I can actually preview without even going into designs, which is nice. And then a quick button to go to designs if I want to use that graphic. New leads to claim. I don't have any of those, unfortunately. So here's goals versus actual. So you'll see here, I don't actually have, well, I think actually everything here is just set up kind of the way that it comes automatically set up, but we're going to actually customize this today. So this is one thing we are going to work on, but this is a cool way you can look at it every day. It's when you log into command, you can check and see what your status is without necessarily going into your reports and pulling it up. Playbook is going to be some videos, some training videos. Your database health comparison. So I've noticed a lot of real estate agents are competitive people. Sometimes I think you need to be in this business. And this is a great way to see how your database health, which is basically how much information you have from each of your contacts, how that database health compares to other agents. So I can compare that to other agents in my market center. I can also compare it to other agents in my state, to all agents, to agents in my production bracket, in the production bracket above mine, but also in my production bracket. and then agents in the top production bracket. So if I want to see how I compare to the very, very top agents, I'm a little bit behind them, obviously. But as far as agents in my market center go, I'm doing a little bit better than them. So that's good at least. And I can increase this health score by adding, as you can see, I've got phone numbers for 66% of my contacts, emails for 91%. So I got a lot of emails, but I have very, very few addresses, very few neighborhoods. So if I went through and I found addresses for all of my contacts, I could do that by, setting out a smart plan to all my contacts and asking them for them to send me their address so I can update them. And I could collect those addresses and add them to my database, and my score would shoot right up. I also have this notepad over here where I can leave myself very important notes like this. What does a house wear? A dress. And I can add things to that too, like I need more real. There we go. We'll add that as a note for myself for later. And product updates. So this is how we can stay in the know of what is happening, what's new in Command, what's changing. So that's your home screen. We're also going to cover, if I click my name right here, well, you'll see this is actually a shortcut to get to the marketplace, but we're going to go to the marketplace through here. And this is actually where you can see your notifications. But I'm going to click my name right here. And then I can go to my profile. So I know we said we weren't really going to talk about KW Connect a lot today, but I did want to point out this is where you can find your profile and also where you can edit your profile. So unlike most of the other profiles that you probably have as a real estate agent, this profile is actually just for Keller Williams agents to see. So I highly recommend having a bio in here, and we're going to cover referrals in a minute, and I'll talk more about why a bio is so important. I do not have a bio, but do as I say, not as I do. You definitely want to have a bio here, and keep in mind as you're putting that bio together that this is something that other agents are going to see, not clients. So you can use more language of the industry in this bio than you would maybe on your Facebook business page. So something to keep in mind. So if you're going to receive referrals through Command, from Keller Williams agent to Keller Williams agent, you need to have a bio set up. And again, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but this is how you can do all that. You click edit, and then I can add my bio right here. I can put as many service areas as I would like. I've got links to all my pages. I only have my Facebook business page right now, but I could certainly add more things, probably should add more things. I can opt in or out of the referral network. I don't know why you would want to opt out of the referral network unless you just don't like making money, in which case I don't know why you're working in real estate. And then I also can choose what kind of information I want shown on my profile. So for example, if I haven't done a lot of business, then I might not want to show these like closed units on my profile. If I have, then I have some stuff to brag about, then I would definitely show them. But I have been with the company for 3 years, so I'm proud of that. And so I'm definitely showing that on my profile. I'll click Save Changes, and that's the information that you get. So next we are going to cover Marketplace. So this is where you can basically add applications to your Command. You've got these right here are Command compatible. So as you can see, a lot of these have prices associated with them, but some of them are free. So that's just something to consider. For example, Command Email, you do have some free Command emails that you can send, but if you'd like to add more, those start at $9.99 a month. Let's see if I can close out of that. All right, so then the next thing is settings. So the biggest reason why I go into settings is to update my marketing profile. Almost every class that we've ever had for Tech Thursday, we pretty much always start with our marketing profile. So that's settings, connect settings, and then marketing profile. This is very, very important, a very important step one whenever you are doing anything in Command. I would say if you don't have this set up, before you get into anything else today, before you even set up your 2021 goals, go in and set up your marketing profile. This is going to make your business so much easier. Everything that you do after you set this up in Command will, if it's possible to have your name, your address, your headshot on it, all of that stuff, that will already be taken care of for you because it pulls it from this profile. So that being said, if something changes for you, you get a new headshot and you want to update that, you'll update that here. Keep in mind, it does need to be a square image. It gets really crazy sometimes, not necessarily on all platforms, but since this pushes to so many different platforms, if you don't put a square image, it can sometimes make you look really stretched out in a weird way. So you always want to make sure you've got that square image, your team logo. For me, I've got the Ben Kinney logo. You also could just leave this blank and it'll just only have your Market Center logo, which is this right here. But if you have a team logo, you can certainly put that there. You can also use the Ben Kinney logo like I've used since you're all Ben Kinney agents. So I've got my name here, my license number. So for team name, this one's a little bit weird. We are going to talk very briefly about agent sites later, but this is actually going to be the button where when you go to your agent site, so I'll take you there real quick for me. So if I go to my agent site, this menu button that you click to drop down to see all of these other things, when I change my team name, that's actually going to change what this says right here too. And if I leave it blank, so if I'm not on a team and then I just don't put anything there, then this is actually just going to say your agent, I think. And I really want, when someone comes to my site, I want them to know that it's mine. I want them to know without having to click into something and find something else. I want them to see my name and know that they're at the right place. So that's why I have my name right there, but just something to keep in mind. And then I've got my bio here. You can certainly do a much better job writing your bio than me, but this is actually going to be a consumer-facing bio. So unlike the bio that we talked about in KW Connect, this one is stuff that your potential clients and your clients would actually see. My phone numbers, email address, my website, my Market Center logo. And if anyone doesn't know how to find their Market Center logo, let us know and we can show you how to do that. There's a lot of other stuff to cover today, so only if you guys don't know, I'll go over that. For your compliance footer, the only thing that you are required to include is this: each office is independently owned and operated. I include more. I'll go ahead and just put this whole bit in the chat so you guys can see, and like copy and paste that if you'd like. You don't need to necessarily include these legal footer images either, but I just want to have all my bases covered. I'd rather have more stuff than I need than be missing some things that I need. So I have an equal housing opportunity logo and also a realtor logo because I am a realtor. Obviously, you can't use this realtor logo or realtor branding without paying your dues and being a part of that association. So it's just one of the reasons why it's important to stay on top of that. And we, as a realtor office, everyone should be a member of that association. And then for social media, I wanted to make sure you guys are aware that if you've got like a personal Instagram where you are sharing things that maybe you wouldn't necessarily want your clients to see, I wouldn't probably make that a public profile anyway, but just keep that in mind that that's what this is for. So if you've got a business Instagram, that's what you would want to link here. Same thing with your Facebook business page. If you're only operating off of a personal page, and that's fine, like that's what you use to communicate with your clients, then you could certainly put that here. But I definitely think having a Facebook business page has a lot of advantages. Now, as far as Twitter goes, I don't personally have a business Twitter. So and our office, actually, the Keller Williams North Seattle office doesn't have a Twitter either. So I'm actually relying on Keller Williams Realty International. So I'm using the KWRI Twitter account for that. But for some of these other things, like LinkedIn, oh, that's me. Okay, so for Instagram, I'm using the Keller Williams North Seattle Instagram. And then for YouTube, I'm using the Keller Williams Realty International YouTube. So just keep in mind, like, don't just think, oh, I don't have an Instagram, so I'm not gonna put anything there. You can always fall back on your office. And then if they don't have that, you can always fall back on Keller Williams Realty International because they definitely have all of these social media channels. And then just make sure as you're putting those links in here that they all start with this HTTPS. You need that in order for them to work. So, and then if you get Google Analytics set up, I think we covered this in an advanced agent sites class once, but this is where you would put that information and then the link to your KW app. Okay, so then the next thing I'm going to click on is command training. And this will take me to a series of, hi, what are you looking to do today? And I can go this route to try to learn some more about command. All right, so we're going to go back to our KW command. So as you'll see here, I do have this reminder to set myself up for success by setting my 2021, oh gosh, it's gonna be so hard to get used to saying, my 2021 goals, and I can click here to set those goals. Now we're actually not gonna set our goals quite yet, but I just wanted you guys to be aware of that shortcut. I am gonna take you the long route too. I don't think they're gonna always have this reminder up here. I think they're just doing it because it's the beginning of the year. Another thing to note is after we go through and we set all of our goals today, you'll probably still keep seeing this reminder. That doesn't mean necessarily that your goals didn't save. That's just, it doesn't go away once you set your goals. It'll continue to stay there as a reminder unless you exit out of it using this X. All right. So first things first, I'm going to go into contacts. Now I do have an entire hour-long video that's on our Tech Thursday channel. Let me actually put that in the chat. Can you check and make sure that works?
Yes, that's the correct one.
Okay, perfect. So if you guys check out that, I'm going to cover some things super fast today. So basically, something to keep in mind is that, we have been doing these Tech Thursday classes for, I don't know, probably close to a year, maybe at least 6 months. So I would say, if you really want to, if you think something is really interesting and you're like, yes, I need to utilize that. I have not put contacts in my database yet. I need to work on that. I haven't started using smart plans, or I haven't set up my agent site. Like, we have videos that cover all of those things specifically. But today we're going to take a really big macro look at everything. And I'm also going to try to move a little extra fast, so we have time to go through your 2021 goals. So as far as adding contacts go, I will say you can click this right here to add a contact. And then let's give our contact a name. Didn't think, here we go. We'll do James Bond. And his email address. And then we're going to leave the phone number blank. And then let's go ahead and create that as a contact. So if I'm going to create, I would say if I had 10 contacts or less that I wanted to add to my database, and maybe that's something that you're doing as a goal, like every day you're trying to add 10 people to your database, I would add them all individually. But I think 10 is about my max. If I'm not going to be doing 10 or less, I'm going to be doing 10 or more, I would go ahead and import. And you need to download the pre-made CSV in order to, which is basically just an Excel file. You need to download that and then put all your contacts into that. We go over this more in the Manage Your Database class, but I did want to just remind you that even if you've already downloaded this before, it's a really good idea to go ahead and start with a fresh download for each import, because if Command ever makes any tweaks to that, you want to know that you've got the most recent CSV file. And then once you've got that saved, you'll just drag it and drop it into this box right here, or you can browse your computer to find that file. And then all of those contacts will populate in your database automatically, which is really great. You'll get a report if anything doesn't come over. So you can, like, let's say if I uploaded 100 contacts, but then I looked at my report and saw that 2 of them didn't upload for some reason. I could always import those individually. All right, so next we've got our tasks. So as you guys saw in the beginning on my home page, I do have those tasks set up. If I want to create a new task, so I'm not really utilizing it that much. Obviously, my last one I did was call Harry Potter. Today I'm going to call James Bond. And maybe I don't want to do it. I mean, I could just have a reminder like first thing in the morning for the whole day. But if I'm more time blocking myself, I might say, no, I need to call him Friday at 9 a.m. And then I could either say, you know, if this was a video call, maybe I'd put the Zoom link in here, or if I needed to, you know, set myself a reminder about why I'm calling him. And then I'm going to create that task. I can also associate contacts with this too. So I just made a James Bond contact. So I will add him to this, associate contact. So now that'll make it even easier once well, if I had a phone number in here for him, that'll make it even easier for me to directly call him too for my tasks. So now if I go back home, since the task is set for tomorrow, it won't pop up quite yet, but I can look at, I thought I could look at my upcoming tasks, but perhaps not. But it will pop up tomorrow. Here I can see my completed tasks, which I don't know why nothing is showing up because I do have completed tasks. Oh, for today. Let's show all time. Okay, here's some completed tasks that I've done. Archived and expired as well. And I can see, since I'm doing now, showing my tasks for all time, I can see now that this is popping up in the future. And then I can just click on James Bond's name right here, and it'll take me straight to his contact card. All right, so that's tasks for you. Next is smart plans. So we do have a smart plans class, but also you can find stuff about smart plans in the life cycle of a lead class that I just taught recently. And also Brittany will be teaching on, I believe, the 21st of January, automating your business, stress less, automate your business. And so I'm sure she'll cover some of that as well, because that's a great way to kind of put managing, reaching out to your database and staying in touch with them by setting up these smart plans. So I'll just take you real quick through here. Here are my smart plans that I've added to my profile. But if I'd like to find some more, I'm going to go to library. Now, one of the newer things about smart plans that they just added, I believe this past fall, is that it used to be that all of the smart plans that you had here were from Keller Williams. So you can see the author here is Keller Williams. If I want to do if I want to use any of these, I can just click this add the smart plan button. I can see what they're rated. So for example, this one right here, midterm nature, a general check-in with a recently met contact to offer your expertise for something real estate specific. We've got 11,514 agents are using this. It's got 5 stars with 14 reviews. There's 6 steps. If I want to see those steps, I can click view steps. And if I want to see what each of these things mean, for example, I mean, I know what delay 14 days means, but if I want to see what call contact means, I can hover over this. Sometimes for things like text messages, it'll actually have here a template for what you could send as a text message. If you have Twilio set up on your account, which is one of those apps you would find in Marketplace, where we covered that earlier, that will actually send these texts out automatically. If you're not using that, you just have to send these out manually, and you would do that maybe by copying and pasting. All right. Now, so the new thing, sorry, I kind of skipped over this. The new thing that they just started in the fall is you can actually post your own, let's see, why is that just saying Keller Williams? If you've got something, a smart plan that's really working for you, you can actually add that to the, let's take that off. I don't know why that filter is here. And let's see everyone's. You can actually add your own smart plans to this. So if I scroll down, I can see these top rated ones. So this one's great. A lot of you guys that I see on the call, I know are newer agents. If you haven't reached out to your database and let them know that you're new to Keller Williams and that you are new to having your real estate license, here's a smart plan that you could apply today to your database. And it's 6 steps over the course of 10 days. Let's view these steps. This author, by the way, is George Kelly. He's got 2,019 people using the smart plan, and it's got 72 5-star reviews. So pretty good. So here's a sample email. Again, you can copy and paste this, or you can use the command email to send these out. Delay 3 days, and then you send a text. And here's the text. Delay 6 days, and then a phone call. And then you're going to add them to a quarterly call plan. That's what that means. So basically, I'm notifying them over the course of 10 days. And then after that, I'm going to add them to a smart plan that's a quarterly call plan. So I'll call them once a quarter and check in. So I would add that smart plan. It also recommends that I download this quarterly call plan, so I can add that too. So I'll download that as well. And we talk more about this in our smart plans class, but that's kind of like a brief overview, very brief overview of what you can do with smart plans and how you can automate your business and reaching out to your clients. So next is referrals, which, by the way, if you guys have noticed as I'm going over these, it does say what the name is on each of these logos. So if I'm not really quite sure which one referrals is, I can float over them all and then it'll tell me once I get there. Or a faster way is if you click this KW icon, it'll actually expand that menu and it'll show what each of these things are anyway. So we're in referrals, and I have, let's see, 148 people in my referral network. So you can think of the referral network as kind of like LinkedIn as far as those people and like adding people. LinkedIn is a place where you can find jobs. It's a professional connecting website. That's kind of what this is too. Just because you friend someone on LinkedIn or add them on LinkedIn doesn't mean you have a job for them, doesn't mean they are going to hire you as a job, doesn't even necessarily mean that you guys ever worked together. You just want to connect. And that's kind of how you should look at this as well. So if you want to be super selective about who you add to your referral network, that's fine. My personal opinion is that you should just grow it as much as possible, because it's always good to have more opportunities for people to reach out to you, to send you referrals. And if you're going to be denying people's requests to connect with you, then they're probably not going to send you a referral. So if I want to grow my network, here is a map where I can see. I got to zoom in a little closer to really get any real results, but I can see all these little blue dots green dots that will pop up soon. Let's just keep zooming in. So I actually was mistaken. I used to think that those green dots were agents, but they're actually transactions, which is interesting. So I don't know why they're not popping up. I'm still not zoomed in enough. No agents found. All right, that's fine. I'm going to type in Seattle, Washington. There we go. Now I'm seeing, I must have been in some weird part of the country. I don't even know. So now I'm seeing all of these green dots. You probably don't need a referral partner in Seattle, but just so you can kind of see all of these different transactions. So I know if I'm looking to, let's say I'm an agent in another state, but I'm looking to refer some business to Madison Park, I can actually see who handled these transactions in Madison Park. Oh, I see Michael Ross handled too. He's probably a Madison Park expert right there. I can add these people to my referral network by clicking this button. I can also send them a referral without adding them to my referral network. Just keep in mind if you do that, that your contact that you send them is kept confidential until they accept that referral. So something to keep in mind. I can also see more information about them. So if I click that person's profile, Barb Anderson, looks like she does not have a bio. Sorry, Barb. If I was going to send a referral out, I'd probably be looking for someone that has a bio that I could learn a little bit more about. I'll go back to building your referral network, but first let's go to, so I typed Seattle, Washington here. Keep in mind, for this next step, you do need to have a location typed in this box. And then I'm going to go to referral patterns. Now, I think having Seattle, I got to retype it. I think having Seattle makes a lot of sense for referral patterns because depending on which way you're looking, if you're looking for people coming into Seattle or looking for people coming out of Seattle, that's probably your biggest opportunity to make referral income. So for example, if I'm going to be adding people from the states that people are moving to, then that would be people that I would potentially be sending referrals to because they're coming from Seattle. So they're people that I already know that are in my market and then going to their market. So for us, that looks like a lot of them are going to Tucson, Arizona, to Austin, Texas, to Spokane or Coeur d'Alene. So it would be a good idea if you're trying to build your referral network is go to these places where people are leaving Seattle and going to and find agents in those areas and add them to your referral network. You can also see where people are sending referrals from. So this would be instead of you sending them a referral and getting a 25% cut of their commission for doing 0% of the work. That's one of the things I love the most about referrals. But this would actually be them sending you a referral and then you doing all the work and then sending them about 25%. So that would be for us. Why are you so zoomed? There we go. People are coming from kind of similar places, actually. It looks like people are coming from Tempe, Arizona, and Tucson, and Austin, Texas, and San Antonio, Texas, and what does that say, Louisville, and Louisville, Kentucky. So then I would try to go into these places and grow my referral network there. Now, again, if I'm going to send a new referral to someone, so let's say I already know that I have a client that is moving to Charlotte, North Carolina. I can click new referral, find an agent, go to Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's go back to production. Or even I can look at my network. So if I go to my network and see who I'm already connected to, since I do have quite a few people in mine. Look, I've got 2 agents that I'm connected to that work in Charlotte, North Carolina. So it'd be really easy for me to send Alicia a referral since we're already connected. I can say whether it's a buyer or seller, what that referral fee is, how much time she gets to accept that referral. And then I can write a little note about them. I can select a client from my database, or I can create a new client. Now, if this client is not already in my database, like let's say I just got this fresh lead and I'm sending out this referral, once I put this client's information in here, it does add that client to my database. So something to keep in mind. But if I'm going to select for my database, let's say it's my new contact, James Bond, and that'll pre-fill in all the information that I have for him. And then I'll have to set a deadline for when it needs to be sold by. Let's just say, let's give it a year. And then I would send. I'm not going to send because I don't want to send that to Alicia and not actually have a referral for her. I can also broadcast the referral. So if I don't know, I can't decide, it's a toss up for me between who gets this. I could send it to both of them at the same time. And then whoever accepts it first would get it. This is also an option if you're sending a referral to a part of the country that you don't have any referral partners established yet. You can also broadcast it. It does need to be a smaller group. I want to say it's like 30 people or less. But then you can basically send it to all of them, and then whoever picks it up first. If it's an unqualified lead, I'd say that would be a fine route to go. But if it's someone that you have nurtured a bit, someone that you personally know, I would probably want to actually talk to these agents and interview them a bit and just make sure that you're not just giving this lead to someone that isn't going to follow up with it. Okay, so next is opportunities. So we're going to come back to opportunities a little bit with goals settings, but I also want you guys to know each of your offices should hopefully have a whole class on this. I know in the North Seattle office, Tiana teaches a Prep to Get Paid class. I don't know if Sierra, you want to share in the chat what your office does.
I know in our office, Kayla Cooper, she teaches her command, commission, and compliance class. So that's on Tuesdays at 3, if you want to join that. And that's for the downtown West Seattle office.
Perfect. And then I think Brittany's office does that as well. I don't know if she's still on the call. Okay. I don't know what you guys do in the Tacoma office, but I know that there's probably something. So I'm going to take a very quick kind of macro view of this. And I will say most people, when it comes to opportunities isn't necessarily my favorite. I mean, it's like an okay part of command because I'm not really producing anything. It's just not as exciting to me as it is hopefully for you guys. For you guys, this should for sure be your favorite part of command because this is actually how you get paid, which is really important. So this is kind of an overview of everything I've got going on. I've got my listings that I'm cultivating through appointments, active, under contract, and closed. It'll show my potential income and then my probable income. My potential income will increase the more leads I have in Cultivate. My probable income starts increasing as I move those leads through this process right here. So just something to keep in mind. This potential income is basically like if every single lead that I have in Cultivate closes a deal with me, this is what I would make. But probable income is more of like a realistic, okay, if as things are starting to happen, this is actually what you're more likely to make. So keep that in mind as well. And there is leases on here too. Now I would say most of our agents in our office at least are not actually utilizing this. And in order for the goals aspect of what we're going to cover today to work, you do need to be utilizing this. But what most people are utilizing is this part right here, all opportunities. Let's say we have Gary Keller, who's a buyer. So whenever you get paid, you're going to need to make sure all of your documents are uploaded. Whoever reviews these documents at your office needs to make sure that everything is there and that everything is compliant with DOL regulations. And then once all of that stuff is compliant, then you get your check. So that's why it's important to stay on top of this. Make sure you're uploading all the documents that you need from the straight out the gate. When I pick a checklist, as you can see, there's a lot of things here that say do not use, do not use, do not use, do not use, do not use. I don't think you should use these. I'm not a opportunities expert here, but I'm going to say I'm not going to use those. This one, however, does not say do not use. So that's the one you would want to use. And now I've got 3 folders here: consultation, under contract, and closed. Each of these 3 folders needs to be approved by your reviewing broker. before you get your check. If something gets uploaded, and you can see here what is required, it makes it bright red, very easy to find. What is sometimes required or conditionally required, and things that are optional. This would kind of depend on whatever agreement that you have with your client. If something gets rejected, so your reviewing broker says, you're actually missing this, this isn't incorrect, this is missing a signature, they can basically reject this folder or this document. And if you've got Kelly downloaded on your phone, which Sierra is teaching a class next week that will include Kelly and then also the KW Consumer app. If you've got Kelly on your phone, this is really important. You'll get a push notification to your phone that says that your file has been rejected, so you can go in and you can correct whatever needs to be corrected. So the reason why that's important is because if you don't do that and you don't correct it, you just said, okay, I uploaded it, now everything's fine. When your check comes in, those things might still be incorrect and you're going to need to fix them before you get paid. So make sure you do that, get everything corrected, have Kelly on your phone so you get those push notifications. And these will all say like green next to them, approved, once you're good to go. So next we've got campaigns. We do have some campaigns classes. So if you go to that Tech Thursday channel, you'll be able to see all the classes that Sierra mostly teaches. She's the campaigns expert. But here's just a quick look at campaigns as well. So one section I really like is this quick post section. There's even, and I think this is super cute, there's a shuffle button. So you can just kind of shuffle all the different graphics and see what you want to post. It's great because you can customize all of these. So it's not just like, oh, you're going to post this however it comes. You can add your name, add your contact information, all that stuff. And just get some good ideas, because that's, I think, a really hard thing. I always talk about how, you know, when real estate agents are really busy, they're usually not posting on social media very much. And to the average consumer, to the average client, they're like, oh man, I haven't seen you on the internet. You must not be very busy these days. Like, what have you been up to? When in reality, they just haven't been posting because they're so busy. But this is a great way for you to stay on top of posting no matter how busy you are. You can also set these up through campaigns to actually post automatically too. So that takes a big chunk of that worry off your plate too. Some tips and tricks from KWU. You can set up some paid ads. You can send emails through here. Also setting up direct mailers. And then here, the social posts is where you can schedule those social posts to post on your behalf, so you don't need to stay on top of it every single day. And then payments for like ads and things like that. Okay, we're finally getting to the fun part for today, the setting your goals. So here's kind of the longer way to get to your goals. As I showed you guys earlier, you can see your goals directly from your homepage. There's also that button now at the top that's kind of prompting you to update your 2021 goals. But if I go through here and click goals, I can also set my goals right here too. So I can look at my 2020 goals. I could also look at my 2021 goals. And I can even set myself 2022 goals because, you know, or I guess I can do that in 11 minutes, 24 days, and 14 hours. But yeah, we're going to work on 2021 today. So the cool thing about that is that you can actually set these up and then keep track of them. So this will show me my whole year of goals. But if I want to change it to this month, that's a really good way to say, am I on par to reach my goal at the end of the year? Like, what am I expected to do this month in order to reach that end of year goal? If I toggle this compare button, I can compare my goals with agents in my market center, agents in my state, all agents, top producing agents, all of that stuff. So another good way for you to anonymously compare yourself with other agents to kind of see if you're on track with what they're doing. So let's go ahead and go into you'll see, just so you can kind of see how this looks before we change it. I've got my activities breakdown. Looks like most of my activity for my database is doing neighborhood searches. I also have 7 emails that I sent out, 2 smart plans, and then there's this very, very small sliver which shows favorited listings, notes, calendars, texts, etc. So yours will probably look a lot different than mine because I'm not really practicing real estate or sending texts and emails to a lot of people. And this is your conversion rate as well. So this is actually just something that was pre-set up by KWRI. We're going to go in and change a lot of this stuff. And you can always change it too. So something to keep in mind as we change these goals today, if you realize halfway through the year that you really underestimated how much business you would do, or you're realizing your conversion rate is a lot higher or a lot lower than you thought it was, these are things that can always be updated and tweaked. So something to keep in mind. And then your GCI, which is your gross commission income breakdown. So this is basically your income before taxes, but after expenses. All right, so to set this up, again, we're gonna make sure, we're gonna go to goals, gonna go to goal settings. And here's your quick little Kelly guide. It looks like it's 4 steps, but really it's only 3 steps. It's gonna be super fast. You guys could probably spend some more time on this than what we're covering today. Make sure, number one thing, make sure this is in 2021 and not 2020, or some of you might even see 2019 as an option. And then you can set what your 2020 annual profit goal is. So again, this is basically your income. What would you like to bring home after your expenses have come out, but before taxes? So for me, I would say, I think a good goal would be like 400,000. I'd be pretty happy with that, making 400,000 this year. My expenses, if you float over this icon, this eye icon, it'll kind of break down what this is. This is going to be different for each of you guys. So I can't really tell you what to put here. Expenses that are made, whether or not a transaction takes place. So that would be like salaries if you have any staff that works with you. Most of your lead generation, are you putting out ads, or like what are you spending money to get leads on? Marketing expenses, flyers, booklets, whatever you're printing, things like that. Education, your license renewal, all that stuff. Occupancy, where's your office? Are you paying rent there? Your automobile expenses, etc. So for me, I'm just gonna put, let's put 100,000. And then for cost of sales, this would be something that happens every time you have a closing. So this would be something you could need to calculate on your own too, but this would be things like your split with your market center. If you have a transaction coordinator or ISA, what kind of fees you're paying them per transaction. Fees to the market center / brokerage, as well as referral fees. So if you guys are in coaching, you would want to consider those fees as well. And I'm going to change this to, let's make that 100,000 too. Maybe 200. I honestly have no idea. All right, so now it's basically saying in order to make $400,000, I need to make $700,000, right? Because I've got $300,000 right here in expenses and cost of sales. I get to decide what my business is made up as. So let's say you are a buyer's agent on a team. You're probably not going to do any listings. Now it's going to yell at you because you're like, that doesn't equal 100. Now it does. So now everything it's going to be calculating is solely through buyers. If you're a solo agent or you're doing both on a team, it might be a bit of a mix. Maybe it's 50-50. Maybe it's 30-70. Maybe it's 60-40. You have to decide that on your own, and then just make sure whatever you have, it equals 100. And then your average commission per unit. So this is going to vary a lot depending on where you're selling real estate. But this would be your commission. You can float over here. The balance between, okay. This would be your commission before all of these expenses come out. So think about if this is, you're brand new to real estate, you don't really know what your average commission is. Think about what the average home price is in the area that you're selling real estate. And then consider what percentage of that would be your commission. So I would say, 3% is pretty average, but just to be conservative, and I think it's always best to be on the conservative side, maybe say 2% or 2.5%. And then same thing with that average listing price. Let's say the average home price in your area is $700,000. Maybe consider doing the math for like a $500,000 or $600,000 home instead, because you never know. You might be doing a lot of condos or something like that. So I think it's always best to be conservative. If you have it in your head that you need to sell one home a month in order to reach your goals, but you do sell one home a month and you're still not reaching your goals, it's probably because you were not conservative enough in this part right here. So I'd rather set the bar high for me. I need to sell 2 homes a month to reach my goal. And then once I achieve that, if I actually made more money, making more money than you thought is always a good thing. So I'm going to actually change this for my market. I calculated this with my MCA. I think it's like a $500,000, what was it? I don't have a calculator with me, but for like a $500,000 home. Does anyone have a calculator? They want to do this math for me? I see somebody's looking for a calculator. Tell me what 2.5% commission is on a $500,000 home.
12,500.
12,500. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to change this. I knew this was a little bit low. I even think that 12,500 is a bit low, but let's just put that on here instead. Anyway. Okay, so now that's going to calculate. I will now have to sell less houses that KWRI had set the goals to get to where I wanted to go. So we're going to go next. And now it's your conversion rate. So this is probably going to be the hardest to do as a brand new agent, just because you really don't know what your conversion rates are yet. It's a really good thing to track this, and you can track this in opportunities by moving your leads constantly throughout that process, moving them to Cultivate. When you have an appointment with them, you set an appointment, put that in command. When you keep that appointment, put that in command. When your appointment that was kept turns into a contract, turns into an agreement, you put that in as well. So this, you might as well just start off with whatever they have in here. But if you've been in the business a little bit longer, or you've gotten a few deals under your belt and you can kind of see where your conversion rate is, you can always come back and update this later. So this isn't set in stone. So something to keep in mind. But this will actually give you those goals in terms of like, okay, how many leads do I need to get to reach that profit goal? How many contacts do I need to have actually had a two-way conversation with in order to reach that goal? How many appointments set? How many appointments kept? How many agreements how many times do I need to get an agreement with someone that they're either going to buy with me or sell with me in order to reach that goal? And then same thing with going under contract. And then finally, at the very end, how many closed sales do I need to get in order to reach that goal? So again, I'm going to keep this set the way that it is. If you've got a better insight to your business, I suggest changing it. Then we're going to save and continue. And now that's a look at everything. So I need to, let's go to what's next. Close out of this. I'm going to take a look at my goals here. Everything should be updated. Is that not working? Oh, that's 20. There we go. 2021 goals. Make sure you've got the right date up here and then it will work. Okay, so now I need to close 56 units at that price that I have set, that $500,000 price. I need to close 56 $500,000 homes to reach that goal of making $400,000. All right, we are starting to run out of time, so let's go super fast into the last few things. For designs, I do want to show you real quick. So right here, these are all the design templates that I have already been working on. If this is your first time coming into designs, this page is probably blank, and that is a-okay. When you go to create a new design, you don't click these buttons up here, you actually click this blue plus sign down here. And then you can decide what kind of design do you want to make. So social media graphics, probably one of the most popular reasons why you come on here, especially when you're during a pandemic, when you're not meeting a lot of people in person, you're still able to communicate with them on social media. You have the option to import some information straight from the MLS, but we're not going to do that right now. And we do have, if you go onto that Tech Thursday channel, we do have designs specific classes. So if you're interested in creating more marketing material, creating more social media, things like that in designs, I would definitely recommend watching one of those videos. But my favorite thing that I want to point out to you guys is if I go in here and I click new designs, this is what I always come into designs for. I want to see what's new. So I look at all these, they've got some new holiday designs. You can also sort them by social stories, which I think is a totally underutilized form of social media. If you guys are posting things on your Facebooks, on your Instagram as a story, you actually can see every single person who views it. Like, what if you could see every person that viewed all of your social posts? That would be so awesome. So why not post some stories, and then actually you can see who's viewing those stories and interact with them based on that. If you have let's say you've got a Instagram business account or a Facebook business page, and you're posting stories constantly of like houses that you've gone to go see, and you can see certain people are viewing all of your stories. Every time you post one, they're always looking at them. That person is probably interested in real estate. So something to keep in mind. And then some wide ones too. I also really like this pivot shift ahead. They've got some really cool stuff on here. I think another pro tip for social media is that if you are able to post something that you get people interacting with, so that's whether that's a business post or whether that's a personal post, just like something funny or silly about you, and people interact with that, you actually get higher priority on their timeline. So I always say you want to do like an 80-20 or 50-50 or something where you're not just posting 100% business stuff, because then people are just going to kind of unsubscribe from you. They're like, that's too much business stuff. Like, I want to know more about you, or like more the stuff is just for fun. But the more you post that fun stuff and people interact with it, they comment on it, they like on it, stuff like that, the higher when you post those business things like, I'm doing a virtual open house on Friday, come swing by or come tune in or whatever, they're going to see that because they've interacted so highly with your other content. So something to keep in mind. And they've got some really good things in here to get interaction with your people. I saw one earlier that was like a GIF challenge where people could like put a GIF on each square. I don't know. There's a lot of cute stuff. So check it out. Unfortunately, we got to move on because we're almost out of time. All right, so I'm going to skip over listings. I don't feel like we really need to talk about this today. But this is basically where you can search for listings throughout the whole, like the whole country. And then consumer, this is actually probably my favorite part of Command, if we're being honest. I don't know, I love designs a lot too. But I really, really, really love being able to create a custom website, which you guys saw with this right here. So I have taught multiple classes. If you go into that tech channel playlist, I've got just a regular setting up your agent site kind of from the straight out the gate, like just setting up all the basic stuff. And then I also have 2 different versions of advanced agent sites. So if you want to be able to add some things like, for example, this mortgage calculator, it's free to add this to your website. It's a great resource you could share with your clients so they can calculate what their mortgage might look like for certain homes. Also, a real estate blog. I think we're going to talk about that later this month too with Scott Leroy Marketing, but they can actually get you set up on this blogging, this like automatic blogging thing where basically I'll show you what it looks like. I did not write this. However, my face is right here. My name is right here. My contact information is here. My name is here. It looks a lot like I wrote it, and it just comes out regularly all the time. I can share it with my clients if people think that I'm like such a smart expert in writing all of this stuff. And it's free. Like, you can have this blog too for free. And it's a great resource to add as well. And then also, you can have these landing pages. So my favorite example of landing pages are for listings, because I think this is really underutilized. If you're ever sharing your listings or someone else's listings by using a Zillow link or a Redfin link, you are losing your leads on that. You are literally losing your leads, because there are a million opportunities to click on both of those sites to connect with a Zillow agent or connect with a Redfin agent. Whereas if you create this site, which I talk about in my listing and landing pages class, it takes about 5 minutes or less to put this whole site together. You could even, if it's your own listing, I would say you could buy a domain. I think GoDaddy.com has them for 99 cents for your first year. You are very unlikely to have a listing for longer than a year. That would be ridiculous in this market, probably very overpriced. So yeah, you could get that domain for 99 cents a year. You can send an email to support@scottleroymarketing.com, and they can actually take this site and use that domain and actually forward that domain to the site. So your clients will see this whenever they type in, 50th Avenue home or whatever your website is called. But here's a great way to show your clients or show potential clients, show your Facebook sphere a house. They can see all the pictures. You can also add video to this too, which is what you can find here. You can create a virtual flyer as well. So if you guys do have a listing and you usually would put a flyer box outside of that listing, instead of putting a flyer box outside of that listing, you could just have a link or a QR code to this site. And then not only do you never have to worry about having to restock your flyers all the time because nosy neighbors are just picking them up and taking them home, but you can also share video, which is something you can't do on a flyer as well. So that was like my super, super fast. We are about 3 minutes over. That was my super fast command overview and goal setting. Does anyone have any questions before we hop off? I'm sorry for keeping you guys a little bit late today. Well, definitely utilize, oh, thank you, Hillary, for saying that you loved it. Definitely utilize those videos. Again, I think that link is up here.
The link is in the chat.
Yes.
You scroll up, and then you can always reach out to Kara, Brittany, or I, or any of your ASCs for that link. And just don't forget, it's every standing Thursday, 10 a.m. Tech Thursday. We will see you right here teaching command, all of that. Kara did an amazing job today. It was a super fast overview of just kind of what command is, but we do have another in Tech Thursday. Kara has taught this class before, so if there's something that you want to go deeper into, just make sure that you join or you go to that YouTube page. Totally free. We've got so many videos on there just to help you guys get versed in command.
Yes, thank you so much. And I think next week, Sierra is covering your KW consumer apps, or your consumer app and also your Kelly app. And then we've got Brittany, who's going to be covering how to make your business less stressful by automating a large portion of it. And this is something that you can do easily through command, and spend your time doing other things like getting more leads or spending time with the ones that you love. And then we'll also do, what's the last class we're teaching this month, Sierra?
It is going over Scott Leroy Marketing. So all of the free templates and everything that you can use through Scott Leroy Marketing, we're going to go over that, because a lot of people forget that that is a free resource that you are able to use as a Keller Williams agent. So we just want to make sure that you know what's there for you. But we're excited. And then if there's ever anything, also last point, if there's ever anything that you do want to learn that we haven't gone over in our Tech Thursday classes, please reach out to Kara, Brittany, or I so that we can get it on the schedule for you guys, so that you guys we are teaching what you guys want to learn. Awesome. Well, happy Thursday. Have a great rest of your day. First Tech Thursday of the year.